Hi guys at Impromptu. Today we will be talking about probe lenses. And here we are. We have in front of us the only two, at least as far as I know, probe lenses of a certain length, because sometimes I saw shorter probe lenses available on the market, very expensive ones, but these are the two that are, let's say, most affordable and most common for common use in the film and photo market. The first is the most known Laowa. The Laowa issued at first a probe lens, 24mm a few years ago. Today we have an updated version of it, which is the peri-probe, and I will explain you in a short time what this means and how it works. The second one we are going to compare with this first one, which is, you know, the first to let us know that probe lenses existed, is this new one, which is the ASTRHORI 28mm f13. So basically this lens is less wide than the Laowa. The Laowa is slightly wider. This is actually visible from the footage. I mean, it's not visible if you just compare one shot with the other, but also for the effect of being inside that part. In fact, these lenses are, I think, the major characteristic of both lenses is to give an immersive perspective of the objects that we are shooting in that moment. And I did some B-roll that I will show you now. Okay, as you saw, the two lenses perform very similarly. Even if the ASTRHORI is f13 and the Laowa is f14, I have to say the difference in terms of T is basically nothing. We didn't have to change our exposure. The lenses basically perform at the same way. Another thing that is worth saying is that the ASTRHORI is slightly longer and slightly thinner than the Laowa peri-probe. I cannot say the same of the Laowa probe, which I think, and I have the impression, because I had it before this one, before updating it, I think the Laowa probe is slightly shorter, it's slightly thinner than the peri-probe. Both lenses allow us to remove the barrel from the actual lens. Okay, actually the ASTRHORI system is a bit better than the Laowa one. The Laowa one is just threaded, and you have to thread it and then lock with another handle. Here instead, with the ASTRHORI, we have a very nice locking mechanism that allows us to very quickly attach the lens to the barrel. The Laowa system is kind of the actual first Laowa probe didn't have this system. It was just one shot. I mean, the lens was not disassembled, but with this one, as you see, the Laowa is a bit complicated, I have to say. Yeah, I did it. The Laowa introduced in this updated version this fact that you can disassemble the lens basically, because we have two different attachments to this lens. Basically the standard probe one, like the ASTRHORI, but we have something more than the ASTRHORI, which is the periscopic one. Basically with the periscope one, we can shoot this way. I mean, basically the lens will be oriented this way and we will be shooting underneath. And another nice thing that Laowa made this time is the fact that they provided the lens with a special gear that can be used to rotate the periscopic lens. So it's kind of nice, I think, that you can have your aperture, focus, and a gear that is lockable. Now in this case I would unlock it, that allows us to rotate the periscope, as you can see. So you can basically attach to this gear follow focus or another motor, and you can have the lens rotating at your will. Very nice, I have to say. It's something that actually I used sometimes. My necessity to upgrade was more for the system, for the lens system. Otherwise I would probably keep just the probe, but this system is very nice. There is another thing about the Laowa periprobe, that on the periscopic attachment we have also a quarter thread on the top, so we can attach, for example, another light or some accessory, a rig, for example, holding something, or maybe some rotator or whatever we can need during the assembly of this video. I have to say, it's very difficult to use the quarter thread there, because the lens, whatever you use to move your camera and lenses, any subtle movement reflects in the lens movement very quickly and very badly. I mean, it's very sensitive to the movement. So I would not use anything on top of your lens unless you are using a rock solid slider or camera movement equipment, because imagine that the lens is very long. So imagine a very small rotation on the bottom, like a small, something very small. I'm applying very zero force, responds to 3-4 millimeters of movement, and at this focal length, at this particular way the lens reads whatever we put in front of it, it's a quite big movement. In fact, when we shoot with this kind of lenses, we usually are totally still in the studio. We cannot walk. We are just, you know, we just stay still like mannequins, because it's really sensitive. As I was saying, both lenses carry with them the possibility to use through a simple USB-C attachment a light on top of the lens. So we can light whatever we are trying to shoot directly from the lens. As I said, both lenses are f14, or for the ASTRHORI f13. We have to say that on the ASTRHORI we are talking about f. Here we are talking about T. So most probably that's why the lenses at the end don't require any change of exposure settings if we change between the one and the other. Optically, the lenses are very similar. I have to say the ASTRHORI has nothing to be jealous of the Laowa, even if the Laowa looks a bit crisper and has less sensitivity to direct light, so doesn't lower the contrast if we point a light directly on top of the lens. This is very important because when we work in studio, we are lighting the scene in a way that most probably we need a lot of light. And of course, when you are extremely close with your aperture, you have to think about diffraction, and also the fact that any flares or any ray coming into the lens can cause, of course, the lens to flare, or either to lower the contrast, so to reflect and diffract internally to the lens. So I would say if you are in low budget, the ASTRHORI does the same things basically, and its price can be by 700 to 900 depending where you buy it and the transportation costs of the lens. I bought it from Per Gear. I was waiting for an offer. I received it. The shipment was pretty fast, I have to say, and the lens actually satisfied me. The Laowa is, let's say, 3-4 times the price of the ASTRHORI, around 2,500 euros or dollars. And okay, but we have a secondary attachment which increases our creativity. It's true, the uses of the periscope are not so many, honestly. I have to say that you can do things that nobody can do with the periscope. Let's say, for example, any very flat surface, like for example a keyboard. You want to shoot a keyboard from above, you don't need to make a underslug rig, you know, with the camera on a slider that goes from the top to the bottom. You can just attach your camera and your lens to a normal slider and put the keyboard on the side and you just shoot it, or any other creation like this. Or for example, looking into something from inside. Recently we did shooting of a hive with bees inside, and we used the periprobe on a Canon camera this time, and I will put some b-roll of this. I have to say the possibilities of these two lenses are incredible. That's why for that documentary that we are starting the shooting next year, I needed two probe lenses, because we are shooting the hive from two different points and we are just inserting these probe lenses inside. And I have to say that even for anything like a documentary or scientific purposes, these lenses do their job at the end. I like them so much, both of them, I have to say. When you need something wider, the Laowa gives us the most immersive effect. So you really feel you are inside. You are very small and you are near, like for example, the donuts I shoot before, you are inside the donuts. It's incredible. The effect is crazy. A little less pronounced, but anyway, incredibly true and incredibly well rendered is the effect that we get instead from the ASTRHORI. I have to say, both lenses are valid. I would never say no, buy the ASTRHORI or buy the Laowa. I like Laowa as a brand, honestly, and we don't own only this lens from Laowa. But ASTRHORI, I have to say, after doing a lot of strange lenses that I never even thought about buying, made this, let's call it duplicate of the Laowa, which I think has very good promises. And the fact that the bayonet is disassemblable, I think it's a good point, because maybe one day they will do also the periscopic attachment, and so we can upgrade the lens without buying a new one. This is actually the third Laowa I buy in terms of probe, because I had the normal probe, Canon EF, Then I bought the RF version of the Periprobe, and then I had to change it, and so I had to sell it and buy it. At this point, I want to say something to Laowa. I wrote you many times to ask if it would be possible to change just my mount. Since I had the lens, it was just a few months old, and I think it would be a good service, first answering your clients, and second allowing to buy just the barrel as a spare part, so that if you change your camera system, you don't have to buy this lens again, and you don't risk to lose a client. Because honestly, if this lens would arrive before, I would never buy the Laowa. So Laowa, please put these barrels interchangeable on your website and allow us to buy just the barrel, so that we don't need to buy a new lens each time we change cameras. Also, I have to say, this is a manual lens. I compared them and they are totally interchangeable. So it's not true that, you know, they are not interchangeable. These are they are the same. The RF, this part in the RF system or E-mount is just longer because the flange is shorter. So basically this is an EF lens with a sort of adapter on the bottom. So Laowa, be more friendly to your clients and you will sell even more than what you are doing right now. I hope you liked this video. I will end up with some more B-roll of the shooting that I did with these two lenses, and now I did it. And see you in the next video here on Impromptu.